Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Hold on a minute. That's not right. That's not how I was supposed to intro. Let me look at my script. Welcome to podcast number 221. Do you have field representation on your leadership team? Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I just want to say that we just finished a scheduling training or kind of a miniature scheduling boot camp. So I'm still at the hotel. I fly back this afternoon, but then I'll be behind my microphone in my recording booth. And so the podcasts for tomorrow and for Friday will have better audio quality, and I'll be back with all of my normal outlines and everything. But today we have a really good podcast, and it's been recently kind of on my mind. Well, not kind of, it's been on my mind. And the topic is about field representation on leadership teams or in leadership positions. And so we're going to have a great time of it today. For just a little report on the scheduling kind of mini boot camp, we went in there and facilitated a number of processes. So you're probably familiar with Parade of Trades, the 5S game, simulations that deal with communication, representations on how to create flow on the project. We went through tact planning. We covered the last planner system in detail, the integrated control system on how to actually run the meetings. I thought it was really neat because with the group, they designed their interaction spaces, their conference rooms, their meeting structures, the meeting agendas, the entire sequence of how the process would work all the way from the master schedule down to over to the worker rather. And it was really fun to have that engagement and to have the light bulbs come on. The other thing that I thought was really neat, you've probably seen the pull planning block game at the AGC lean courses or somewhere in the industry where you build a little block tower and you do it with pull planning. I've done that a couple of times. What we did on this simulation, which I thought was really neat, is we used that building and we did the pull planning simulation the right way for them, for the group. And then we did it on the planning boards that would typically be in your conference room. And then from there, we went into the trade partner weekly tactical and actually did weekly work planning. And then we did the afternoon foreman huddle with the day planning and showed them how that process scales from tact to last planner with the pull planning, and then the 6-week make ready look aheads, and then to weekly work planning, and then to day planning. So that little block example, instead of just saying, hey, here's how you create a sequence, we actually tied it into the overall meeting system, the interaction spaces, the conference room layout, all of the softwares and everything. And we got raving reviews on that because it was all contextual. So again, I just want to let you know if you hear any noises in the back, I'm still at the hotel, but we had a great time with that scheduling event and learned so much on how to make it contextual. If you ever need any advice on that and how to simulate those processes, please let me know. Also, I had somebody reach out about the pull planning homework, how to do that in design, how to do pull planning remotely. I will say that I learned something recently from Felipe Engineer. There's a program called Mural, and that works for Scrum or for Last Planner. I would actually prefer that before Bluebeam and before Concept Board and before some of these other applications. I really enjoyed Mural, and if you're going to do a pull planning simulation, I would definitely do it on Mural, Mural. And man, I was blown away by that. So we're continually finding more and more information about how to do these things remotely, especially if you have the homework and then you do that remotely on some really collaborative and inviting environments. So really just wanted to share that. So here is Principle 13. It was going to be Principle 13 from a principle section of the book, Elevating Construction Superintendents. I am going to continue to give these chapters that were cut every time I do a podcast until we run out of them because they're such good information. I want them distilled somewhere. But again, they didn't fit into the flow of the book. See, even in the book, we searched for flow. So principle 13, comfort the workers, discomfort the staff. And I put staff, the word there, like that intentionally. There is a principle that every superintendent should understand about workers. It is our job to create a stable environment and respectful circumstances for the workers themselves. The goal in our industry should be to optimize project management systems and optimize the conditions of the workers on site who are installing the work. If managers have to attend meetings, complete reports, pre-plan, and carry out inconvenient assignments, those duties will be worthwhile if they provide stability and respect in the field for the worker. The ultimate end of all success on project sites is that workers in the field have stable environments, respectful conditions, the tools and equipment they need, proper installation information, and a suitable allotment of time to work at a productive rate with good quality parameters. So the point here is, when I did that training for scheduling, we would always, at the end of whatever system we're talking about, whether it's Last Planner or Scrum or the integrated control system, the system that I use that kind of modifies the system of Last Planner, which is trademarked, by the way, I always draw at the end of the line the worker. And it's funny, we did this at the end of it. It was remarkable for the group. We did this simulation about communication and how hard it is and how infrequent it is that we get information all the way to the end of the row, is what I want to say. And so when we were comparing typical approaches of trusting, and I trust foremen, but I'm saying trusting the ability to communicate. So trusting the ability of foremen to communicate to the workers the project plan versus implementing a morning worker huddle and an afternoon foreman huddles where you plan the next day. But basically following a system where we get that information all the way to the end of the row. When we did that simulation, it became very clear that going from a weekly work planning meeting to an afternoon foreman huddle, then communicating to all of the workers en masse in the morning, and then allowing them the 25 minutes to do their crew preparation huddle was key to getting the information all the way to the end of the line. And I just really believe, and this ties into our current topic today, that we have to make sure that we're elevating the role of field positions so that we start to optimize the field instead of just optimizing the office. So let's do a couple of things before we get into the meat of this podcast. What am I excited about in life? I'm excited about a few things. Right now, excited about the vision for where Elevate Construction can go, and also some of the associated companies that will eventually deal with, and probably sooner rather than later, deal with tact planning, surveying, building information modeling, quality, and just some of these industry niches that need attention right now. There's a person that I work with, I won't mention his name right now, but that's working on survey lessons, and he's ready to go live with the virtual lessons on those, and they're absolutely remarkable. There's also a book coming out, so I'm hoping, and I'm going to make it happen, so the hope will turn into actual actions. But I'm hoping that Elevate Construction has associate companies that focus on consulting for survey, for scheduling, and for tact planning, for building information modeling, for quality, for these key things in construction that need a lot of attention right now, that will provide specific and focused services that are focused from a marketing standpoint as well. So very, very excited about the possibilities there. Let's go on to talk about some of the feedback from our listeners. Here's one. Just finished listening to the book Elevating Construction Superintendents on Audible during my commutes. Outstanding material. Man, I appreciate that. I found it meaningful to me, and I'm not a superintendent, but have the utmost respect for supers. Well done. So really appreciate that feedback for the person that sent that to me. We get really good feedback on the book. My wife is actually going to start including, she's a part business owner with me, she's going to start including feedback and stories from readers, and also format some of the chapters from some of the feedback we've received to get better flow. One of these days we'll have a probably sooner than later, actually, a second edition with better flow, re-record the audio, have more and more stories from the field. So if you have those stories, please send them our way. So the topic today about making sure we have field representation in leadership positions is very important and impactful to me. Here's some conflict. You do not have field leadership on your executive team or field leadership represented enough in your company. So I want to mention a couple of different companies. I've worked with and around and done joint ventures with a number of companies. I don't think you know any of these, and I don't want you to guess either. But I once worked with a company that had equal field and office positions, and they would promote all types. And there were general superintendents actually that made their way up to vice president and then to executive vice president. This company has the utmost respect for field engineering, for superintendents, for general superintendents, and this company has a spot at the table for general superintendents as a part of their stockholder group and listens to their leadership, and they have a very, very, very strong representation. I've also worked with another company where they have probably the best project management systems and representation from a project management standpoint, but their superintendent representation is not there. They don't have the position of field engineer, and they don't have the position of general superintendent. And you can tell when you go from my first example to the second, there aren't a lot of brilliant superintendents at the second company that I'm mentioning because, and this is real, most of the qualified folks that could have stayed in the field and made their way all the way up through the ranks have transferred to either project manager or project executive or project director positions with an office focus because they know there's not a structure there to support the supers. They know that there's no representation on leadership teams. They know there's not any representation at the executive level of the company. And you can tell it hurts them as builders because of this. And what they need to do, and I'm being very forward about this, is to get the field engineering position, start training on it well, and get positions all the way up to general superintendent or field director, and make sure that their leadership teams are balanced with field representation. Also, a third company, and like I said, you don't know who these are, but a third company, they do not have field representation on their leadership team. They do not have field representation on their executive levels, and they do not respect field workers. And you can tell by the way they treat their actual field craft. They do not listen to the field representation, and they make all of their decisions based from an office standpoint. So they optimize the office, they optimize their metrics, they focus on finances, they focus on selling work, but they do not focus on how they execute in the field. And as a result, they come into a number of consequences, financial consequences, when they enter a crash landing for their projects. So the principle is the field and office work together. I can't say that they always have, but I can say that they always should have. Meaning that when the project management teams work best, they have a superintendent and a project manager, kind of one in a box is the best way I've ever heard it, that work together, that are accountability partners, that have different focuses, but together they are more effective than each of them could be individually. Together they make a team. That is the pattern. It will always be the pattern that is the most successful. Project managers and superintendents, they hold each other accountable in equal positions working together. That's how it works. And if that's how it works, why would we depart from that at the project director and project executive level with general superintendents? The answer is we shouldn't. We should partner those pairs. Why would we stop that at the leadership team level? We shouldn't. If you have an office director of operations, do you have an office or a field director of operations that partners there together from an accountability standpoint and represents the field positions and the craft? If not, you could be heading in a bad direction. You must have representation of all those key positions and perspectives on your leadership team. When you look at how companies are structured to be successful, you have teams, the mission of the company, the leadership of the company, but that leadership should be comprised or have representation of the product, legal services, systems, communications and marketing, and then obviously the financing. So if so, let's talk about financing. You're going to have the chief financial officer that takes care of the finances. You're going to have your chief marketing officer, your CMO, talking or focusing on communications and marketing. For systems, you're going to have your director of operations. And for legal, you'll have, your chief legal officer or your corporate counsel, whatever you call it, that focuses on those, or maybe your president takes that, right? However your company is focused, right? But then you have your product. And so let me just do that again. You have your CEO, your chief executive officer, or according to Pat, your chief executing officer, your chief operating officer, your president, your chief financial officer, your chief marketing officer, maybe even a chief technology officer. And then you'll have corporate counsel and director of operations, but you do not have that fifth thing, the product. Okay, so again, finances, communications and marketing, systems, legal, and the fifth one is product. You do not have that product representation on your leadership team unless you have field operations, unless you have field people in those seats. And if you are a company that sells construction projects, that sells self-perform, and you are a company that builds projects, all of the project management and company scaffolding is necessary but non-value add. When your workers put in work in the field, I have to say that again, in the field, when your workers put work in the field, that's when you make money. That is your business. That is your product. How many construction companies out there have nothing but, previous project managers who've never been in the field on leadership selling something that they know less about than field folks to customers that pay us solely for that field installation, not for the project management side of it. And we don't have that representation, and it hurts the product and it hurts the customer. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, we get paid general conditions for project management, and we sell our pre-construction. Hey, everyone, calm down. What I'm saying is, and I'm right, that the only actual thing that is value add, necessary and value add, is when we put work in place. The procurement, the finances, the pre-construction, all of the project management, the RFIs and the submittals, all of these things are necessary, but hear me, non-value add. The only time we add value is when we put work in place. So why, and you need to explain this to me or yourself, or don't explain it at all, do whatever you want. You need to explain to me why the most important part of your business is not represented on your leadership team. If you do not have field representation, these are the consequences. I'm going to go through them. I briefly, in researching this topic, came up with 12. You become disconnected with the craft. You make decisions that do not deal with the product itself. You de-incentivize field positions from being remarkable because they know there's not a long-term career path and fit. You push too many entry-level people to the project management side when they may have otherwise enjoyed being in the field as a superintendent. You become project management and corporate controls heavy. You stop listening to how things really work on the construction project. You lose that accountability and the accountability partnership of the PM and super together. You begin to become brokers instead of builders. You focus too much on finances. The craft and field workers know this, and they feel disconnected and unrepresented, and so they're discontent and unfulfilled. You start to dispatch your best people in the field to fix troublesome situations and bad projects instead of having them in a position where they can prevent it. And the other thing is, you need the field people involved in leading the field for field teams to be successful. And so this is true. Somebody said, Jason, do you have data on this? I have decades of observation and comparisons from company to company. If you'd like me to do a white paper on it, maybe one day I'll consider that. But all you have to do is reflect on this and know that what I'm saying is true. We have to 100% represent the field, and focus on the product that we are delivering. And when we do that, things will start to get remarkable. Your company or your team or your leadership team, you are being wimpy leaders if your main priority is financial to goals and targets. And if you are not holding teams in the field to a high standard with field representation on your leadership team. And you are being wimpy leaders if you are not strengthening and expecting high standards from your field people who are delivering your product. So what is the role of your leadership team? You need to provide challenging and prioritized goals for your company and your organization, and to eliminate or reduce organizational debt by creating a business plan and organization that works, and to provide all needed resources to teams. And you do that by balancing field and office, and also by removing impediments identified by teams and your work product. You need to make sure that you set up an organization that is focused on delivering maximum value and removing waste at every step of the game. Just one quick example of this. When you have your process improvement department or your project managers deciding what systems and softwares we're going to use on the site, then they give us softwares that slow us down from a safety and a quality standpoint, that slow us down with daily reports, that slow us down with how we manage the field and take care of our documentation, and it slows down your product, even if it makes the job of the project engineer easy. So you need to remove impediments as a leadership team by ensuring your organization is set up and organized to deliver maximum value with field and office, and remove waste by making sure the value you're producing is keyed into both field and office. You need to hold project managers accountable for delivering value in the field, and you need to hold superintendents accountable for aligning into the processes of the company and the overall team. And you need to hold your actual teams accountable for quality, safety, schedule, and cost together equally. If they are to be equally, why is your leadership team not set up that way as well? Why are you not modeling a fractal organization? Why are you not modeling a scalable organization? The current condition is that leadership teams do not represent the field. People know that, and your projects are suffering, and your good people are going to other companies because they know there's no place for them. Your PMs would be better off with some accountability and competition. So here's the challenge. Develop some of your people from the field to be on your leadership team. Just do it. Trust me on this. Try it for a year. Tell me it doesn't work. Call me. I promise you it's going to be game-changing if you have the right people. Invite your senior field positions to be in executive level leadership positions. Create interactions where you are listening to the product side of your company, to that field side. Stay connected to the craft and make sure they are represented in your leadership groups. Improve the conditions of workers as your top priority. And make sure that you have field position levels that will take people from field engineer all the way to at least general superintendent, and hopefully all the way to executive levels in your company. And so I just want to tell you, recently I've been working with a company with a vice president, executive level vice president, that personally trains the field, works with those field positions, has field positions represented, implements lean and advanced scheduling techniques, works with the field team, has rapport for them, cares for the craft. Absolutely amazing. Worked with another client the other day based on the systems we were talking about, promoted one of their senior level supers to a GS level, and now has representation on that executive level team. Very, very proud of these people. We need to see more and more and more and more of this. If we do, we will represent the product that we sell in construction and do remarkable things for our customers and have a balanced approach and a complete and whole business. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.